Tonight, you are not a king, a philosopher, or a famous warrior of ancient Greece. You are something much quieter. You are a fisherman. The year is somewhere around 450 BCE. Far from the grand temples of Athens and the crowded marketplaces of Corinth, your small village rests beside the gentle waters of the Aegean Sea. The world is still asleep. The stars shimmer above the dark horizon. A cool breeze drifts from the sea and slips through the narrow streets of your village. Stone houses stand quietly beneath the moonlight. Their whitewashed walls glow softly against the darkness. Somewhere nearby, a dog stirs briefly before settling back into sleep. The waves move slowly against the shore. Their rhythm is steady and calming. The sound has accompanied every day of your life. You know these waters as well as you know your own hands. Tonight, as you prepare for another fishing journey, there is no hurry. There is never much hurry in your village. Life follows the sea. The sea follows the wind. And the wind follows its own mysterious path. You rise from your simple bed. The room is small. A clay oil lamp burns softly beside the wall. Its golden light flickers across wooden shelves holding a few precious possessions. A woven basket. A clay drinking cup. Several fishing hooks carefully carved from bronze. Nothing extravagant. Nothing unnecessary. Everything has a purpose. Outside, the village remains silent. You wrap a wool cloak around your shoulders and step into the cool night air. Above you stretches a sky crowded with stars. Without city lights, the heavens appear almost endless. Ancient Greek sailors often navigate by these stars. Many fishermen do the same. You pause for a moment and look upward. The familiar constellations shine overhead. The Great Bear, Orion, and countless smaller stars whose names have been passed down through generations. The sea reflects their light like scattered silver. Far out on the dark horizon, fishing boats from neighboring villages appear as tiny lanterns floating upon the water. The smell of salt fills the air. Mixed with it is the faint scent of olive wood smoke from cooking fires that burned earlier in the evening. The village feels timeless. It is easy to imagine that it has stood here forever. And perhaps, in some ways, it has. Generations of fishermen have walked these same paths. Their fathers. Their grandfathers. Their great-grandfathers. All rising before dawn. All trusting the sea. All hoping for a good catch. You begin walking toward the shore. The sand crunches softly beneath your sandals. Ahead, your small fishing boat waits where it has always waited. Simple. Reliable. Weathered by years of salt and sunlight. Its wooden hull bears countless marks from previous journeys. Every scratch tells a story. Every repair reflects a challenge overcome. You run your hand along the side of the boat. The wood feels cool beneath your fingers. Nearby rests a neatly folded fishing net. Yesterday afternoon, you spent several hours repairing small tears in the mesh. Such work requires patience. Fortunately, patience is something every fisherman learns. The sea teaches patience better than any philosopher ever could. You place the net carefully inside the boat. Then come the baskets, the rope, the water jug. Everything has its place. Everything has been prepared the night before. There is comfort in routine. Comfort in familiar tasks repeated over many years. The eastern horizon begins to brighten ever so slightly. Not sunrise. Not yet. Just the faintest hint that morning is approaching. The darkness softens. The stars slowly fade. A seabird calls somewhere overhead. Then another answers. The day is awakening. You push the boat gently into the water. Small waves lap against the hull. The boat rocks lightly beneath your weight as you climb aboard. For a moment you pause. The village behind you remains quiet. The sea before you stretches endlessly into the distance. A calm stillness surrounds everything. It is the kind of peace that modern people rarely experience. No engines. No traffic. No glowing screens. Only wind. Water. Stars. And silence. You take a deep breath. The salty air fills your lungs. Then, slowly, you begin rowing into the darkness of the Aegean Sea. The oars move steadily. The boat glides forward. Behind you, the shore gradually grows smaller. Ahead, the vast waters welcome you once again. And so begins another ordinary day in the life of an ancient Greek fisherman. A day that will unfold gently beneath the Mediterranean sun. A day filled with simple tasks, quiet observations, and timeless rhythms. A day much like countless others before it. And perhaps that is exactly what makes it beautiful. The sea is calm this morning. Your small boat glides quietly across the dark water as the world slowly awakens around you. The village behind you has nearly disappeared into the distance. Only a handful of faint lights remain visible along the shoreline. Ahead lies the open Aegean Sea. A place both familiar and mysterious. You have traveled these waters since childhood. Yet every morning feels slightly different. Every sunrise paints a new picture upon the sea. The eastern horizon now glows with soft shades of silver and pale blue. The stars fade one by one. The brightest remain visible for a few moments longer, refusing to surrender to the coming day. Then they too disappear. A gentle wind brushes across the water. Small ripples spread outward from your boat. The oars move with a slow and steady rhythm. Splash. Pull. Splash. Pull. The sound is soothing. Almost hypnotic. There is no need to hurry. The fish will not arrive sooner because of impatience. An old fisherman once told you that the sea rewards those who move with its rhythm rather than against it. Over the years, you have discovered that he was right. The first rays of sunlight finally appear. They spread across the horizon like liquid gold. The dark sea begins to shimmer. Tiny reflections dance upon the waves. The transformation is gradual. The world seems to wake slowly, stretching itself after a long night's sleep. A flock of seabirds circles overhead. Their white wings catch the early sunlight. You watch them carefully. Fishermen often pay attention to birds. Birds know where fish gather. When they dive suddenly toward the water, it often means a school of fish is swimming below. Today the birds move calmly. There is no frantic feeding. No sudden excitement. The sea remains peaceful. You welcome the quiet. Far away, several rocky islands emerge from the morning mist. Ancient Greece is a land of islands. Thousands of them scatter across the sea. Some are large enough to support entire communities. Others are little more than rocky outcrops where only birds make their homes. Sailors have traveled between these islands for centuries. Merchants, explorers, soldiers, and fishermen like yourself. Each island carries stories. Some tell of forgotten temples. Others tell of shipwrecks. Many tell of gods. The people of your world believe the sea belongs to Poseidon, the mighty god who rules the oceans. His temper is famous throughout Greece. When pleased, he grants calm waters and safe journeys. When angered, he can summon storms powerful enough to destroy entire fleets. Many fishermen leave small offerings before beginning a voyage. A prayer. A handful of wine poured into the sea. A whispered request for protection. You are not certain whether Poseidon truly listens. But traditions have a way of surviving for generations. And so, before leaving the harbor this morning, you quietly offered a brief prayer as your father taught you. Perhaps the sea heard. Perhaps not. Either way, the water remains calm. That is enough. The sun rises higher. Warmth begins to replace the chill of night. Its golden light illuminates the distant coastline. Olive groves appear upon the hills. Small farms dot the landscape. Thin columns of smoke rise from village homes where families prepare breakfast. You imagine children waking. Farmers feeding animals. Potters opening workshops. Bakers tending ovens. Every person beginning another ordinary day. Ancient Greece is often remembered for great philosophers and powerful cities. Yet most people live simple lives. Lives centered around work, family, food, and community. Much like your own. The sea beneath your boat suddenly shifts. Not violently. Just enough to catch your attention. You stop rowing. The boat drifts quietly. For a moment, nothing happens. Then a smooth gray shape emerges from the water. A dolphin. It rises gracefully before slipping beneath the surface once more. A second follows. Then a third. Soon several dolphins swim alongside your boat. Their movements seem effortless. They glide through the water with remarkable speed and elegance. The sight never grows old. Many Greeks considered dolphins to be sacred creatures. Stories claim they carry messages from the gods. Others believe they protect sailors lost at sea. Whatever the truth may be, their presence always feels special. The dolphins remain beside you for several minutes, occasionally breaking the surface, occasionally disappearing beneath the waves. The morning sunlight reflects from their sleek bodies. They seem to enjoy the journey as much as you do. Eventually they move away. Their shapes fade into the deep blue water. Silence returns once again. You continue rowing. The sea grows brighter with each passing minute. Now you can see clearly beneath the surface. Small fish dart through the shallows near a rocky reef. Seaweed sways gently with the current. The underwater world feels almost dreamlike. Beautiful. Peaceful. Timeless. You reach one of your favorite fishing grounds. The location is known only to a handful of local fishermen. Your father brought you here years ago. His father had shown it to him before that. Generations sharing knowledge passed quietly from one to another. No written maps. No official records. Only memory. Only experience. You rest the oars. The boat settles gently upon the water. The sea is still. The air is warm. The sun hangs low above the horizon. For a few moments, you simply sit and observe. Many people imagine fishing is about catching fish. But experienced fishermen know otherwise. Fishing is mostly about waiting, watching, listening, understanding. The sea speaks constantly, not with words, but with movement, light, wind, and sound. Those who pay attention learn its language. Those who rush often miss its lessons. You reach for the carefully folded net resting inside the boat. Hours of work went into repairing it. Every knot matters. Every strand has a purpose. You inspect it one final time. Everything appears ready. The day has truly begun now. The sun shines brightly across the Aegean. The birds continue their flight overhead. The islands stand quietly in the distance. And beneath the calm surface of the sea, countless fish move through ancient waters exactly as they have for thousands of years. Soon, you will cast your net. Soon, the work of the day will begin. But for now, there is only stillness. Only sunlight. Only the endless breathing rhythm of the sea. And as your boat gently rocks upon the waves, the world feels wonderfully simple. A feeling that many centuries later would become increasingly rare. Yet here, in this moment, aboard a small wooden fishing boat in ancient Greece, simplicity is all you need. The sun now stands comfortably above the horizon. Its warm light stretches across the surface of the Aegean Sea like a pathway made of gold. Your boat rocks gently upon the waves. The wind remains soft. The water remains calm. It is the kind of morning every fisherman hopes for. You reach for the fishing net beside you. The rope feels familiar in your hands. Rough. Weathered. Dependable. Thousands of times before, you have performed this same task. Yet you never rush it. The sea rewards patience. And patience begins with preparation. You carefully gather part of the net across your arm. Each section must be arranged correctly. A tangled net can waste valuable time. A poorly cast net can ruin an entire morning. Many young fishermen learn this lesson the hard way. But experience has taught you to move slowly. Deliberately. Methodically. The boat drifts over a patch of deeper water. You study the surface. At first glance, it appears unchanged. But years spent on the sea have trained your eyes. Tiny movements reveal hidden activity below. A ripple here. A flash of silver there. Small signs that fish may be gathering beneath your boat. You wait. Just a little longer. The silence feels pleasant. Around you, the sea stretches endlessly in every direction. The distant islands stand like sleeping giants upon the horizon. Above them, white clouds drift lazily through the bright blue sky. There is no urgency. No noise. Only the quiet rhythm of nature. Finally, you rise carefully. Balancing on a fishing boat requires skill. One careless movement can upset everything. The boat shifts slightly beneath your feet. But your body knows how to compensate. Years of practice have made such movements automatic. You grip the edge of the net. Take a slow breath. And cast. The net unfolds gracefully through the air. For a brief moment it resembles the wing of a giant bird. Then it settles upon the water. The weighted edges sink slowly beneath the surface. Circles spread outward across the sea. Then disappear. The net vanishes into the depths. Now comes the waiting. A familiar companion to every fisherman. You sit once more and allow the boat to drift. The sea makes gentle sounds around you. Small waves tap softly against the wooden hull. The rigging creaks occasionally. Somewhere in the distance, a gull calls. Nothing more. Nothing less. Many people fear silence. But fishermen become friends with it. Hours spent alone upon the water teach a person to appreciate quiet moments. In silence, small details become noticeable. The shape of distant clouds. The changing color of the sea. The warmth of sunlight upon weathered skin. The smell of salt carried by the breeze. Life feels richer when distractions fade away. As you wait, your thoughts wander. They often do. You remember your grandfather. He was a fisherman too. An old man with strong hands and countless stories. When you were a child, he would sit beside the harbor and tell tales of legendary voyages. Some were probably true. Others almost certainly were not. But you loved hearing them all. He spoke of enormous tuna that pulled boats across entire bays. He described mysterious islands hidden by fog. He claimed to have seen sea creatures unlike anything described by philosophers. Whether these stories were fact or fiction hardly mattered. Stories make long days upon the sea more enjoyable. And fishermen have always loved stories. Your grandfather often spoke about how different generations see the same sea. The water remains. The people change. Every wave you see today touched other fishermen long before you were born. Perhaps it touched sailors returning from Troy. Perhaps merchants carrying olive oil and wine. Perhaps explorers searching for unknown lands. The sea connects all of them. A living thread stretching across time. The thought brings a quiet smile. The Aegean feels ancient. Older than cities. Older than kingdoms. Older than memory itself. A sudden tug interrupts your thoughts. You glance toward the rope attached to the net. Another tug follows. Gentle. But unmistakable. Something is there. You place both hands on the rope. Carefully. Slowly. You begin pulling. The net rises inch by inch from the depths. Water pours from its woven mesh. Sunlight sparkles in countless droplets. The weight increases as more of the net emerges. That is usually a good sign. Your muscles tighten. The rope grows heavier. You continue pulling. Steadily. Patiently. Then you see the first flash of silver. A fish. Then another. And another. The morning's first catch. Several fish twist and shimmer inside the net. Their scales reflect sunlight like polished metal. The sight brings quiet satisfaction. Not excitement. Not celebration. Simply gratitude. The sea has been generous today. You lift the catch aboard. The fish settle into a wooden basket near your feet. A respectable beginning. Enough to encourage optimism. Not enough to become careless. Fishing is unpredictable. A good start guarantees nothing. Still, it feels pleasant. You prepare the net once again. Repairing. Folding. Arranging. The routine repeats exactly as it has for generations. Cast. Wait. Observe. Retrieve. A simple cycle. Yet one capable of sustaining entire communities. As the morning progresses, the sea becomes increasingly alive. More fishing boats appear upon the horizon. Tiny silhouettes moving across the water. You recognize some of them. Friends. Neighbors. Men whose families have lived beside yours for decades. Although separated by distance, you understand one another well. No words are necessary. Each fisherman shares the same relationship with the sea. The same hopes. The same uncertainties. The same respect. Hours pass peacefully. The sun climbs higher. The breeze grows warmer. Your basket slowly fills. Not overflowing. Not empty. Just enough. The perfect amount for a contented fisherman. And so the morning unfolds beneath the bright Greek sky. One cast at a time. One wave at a time. One quiet moment at a time. The sea continues its endless conversation. And you continue listening. Because that is what fishermen have always done. For centuries before your birth. And for centuries yet to come. By late morning, the fishing grounds begin to quiet. The sea remains calm, but the activity beneath the water seems to slow. Your basket now contains enough fish to make the morning worthwhile. There is no need to force your luck. Experienced fishermen know when to continue. More importantly, they know when to stop. You rest the net beside you and allow the boat to drift. The Aegean Sea sparkles beneath the growing sunlight. The water has changed color since dawn. Where it was once dark blue and silver, it now shines with brilliant shades of turquoise and sapphire. The surface appears almost transparent. In some places, you can see far beneath the waves. Schools of tiny fish move like clouds of silver dust. Sea grasses sway gently on the seafloor. Large shadows occasionally glide through deeper waters. The sea is full of life. Much of it remains unseen. Ahead, a small island rises from the water. You know this island well. Many fishermen stop there during long days at sea. It offers fresh water, shade, and a safe place to rest. No large town exists there. Only a few stone cottages and a tiny harbor protected by rocky cliffs. The island seems unchanged by time. Perhaps it has looked exactly the same for hundreds of years. Perhaps it will look the same hundreds of years from now. You turn the boat toward its shore. The oars dip slowly into the water. The familiar rhythm returns. Splash. Pull. Splash. Pull. The journey is short. Soon, the rocky coastline grows larger. White seabirds circle overhead. Their cries echo against the cliffs. A gentle breeze carries the scent of wild herbs growing among the rocks. Thyme. Rosemary. Sage. The warm Mediterranean sun awakens their fragrance. The air smells fresh and clean. You guide the boat into the small harbor. Several other fishing boats already rest there. Some belong to men from your village. Others come from distant islands. The sea creates friendships that ignore borders. A fisherman from one island often feels closer to another fisherman than to a wealthy merchant from his own town. Shared experience creates strong bonds. You secure your boat beside an old wooden dock. The wood creaks softly beneath your weight as you step ashore. Solid ground feels strange after hours on the water. For a moment, your body still expects the gentle movement of waves. Then the feeling passes. The harbor is quiet. An elderly fisherman sits beneath an olive tree repairing a net. His hands move slowly but skillfully. Years of practice have made the task effortless. Nearby, a young boy watches closely. Perhaps a son. Perhaps a grandson. Either way, another generation is learning. The old man occasionally points toward a knot or section of rope. The boy nods carefully. Knowledge passes from one generation to the next. Not through books. Not through schools. But through observation and patience. Much of life in ancient Greece works this way. You greet them with a simple nod. They return the gesture. Words are unnecessary. The sea has already introduced all of you. You continue walking toward a small spring hidden among the rocks. Fresh water emerges from the hillside and collects in a stone basin. Travelers have stopped here for generations. You kneel beside the water. It feels cool against your hands. You drink slowly. The taste is refreshing after a morning spent beneath the sun. Above the spring stands a small shrine. Nothing elaborate. Just a few stones carefully arranged around a weathered statue. The figure has lost many details over time. Yet it remains recognizable. A god. Or perhaps a local spirit. Fresh flowers rest at its base. Someone visited recently. Throughout Greece, shrines appear in countless places. Along roads. Near springs. Beside harbors. At crossroads. The divine feels close to everyday life. Not distant. Not unreachable. Simply present. Whether one truly believes or not matters less than respecting tradition. You leave a small olive leaf beside the shrine before continuing on your way. The path climbs gently above the harbor. From the hilltop, the view is magnificent. The entire Aegean stretches before you. Dozens of islands scatter across the horizon. Some appear close. Others are little more than shadows in the distance. Sailing between them requires skill. The sea can appear friendly one moment and challenging the next. Yet countless sailors navigate these waters every year. Merchants transport wine, olive oil, pottery, and grain. Messengers carry news between cities. Philosophers travel in search of knowledge. Soldiers move toward distant campaigns. And fishermen pursue the daily rhythm of their trade. The sea connects them all. Looking across the water, it becomes easy to understand why Greek civilization developed as it did. Mountains divide the land. The sea unites it. Water serves as the great highway of the ancient world. A journey that would take days over rough mountain roads might require only hours by boat. The sea is not merely part of life. It is life. You find a shaded spot beneath an ancient olive tree. Its twisted trunk suggests great age. Perhaps it was already old when your grandfather was young. Olive trees live long lives. Some seem almost immortal. Their roots grip the rocky soil with remarkable determination. They survive storms, droughts, wars, generations of change. You sit beneath its branches and enjoy the cool shade. The leaves rustle softly overhead. Far below, waves lap gently against the harbor. A few fishing boats arrive. Others depart. The world moves at a peaceful pace. There is no rush. No urgency. The afternoon still lies ahead. You open a small cloth bundle containing bread, olives, and a piece of goat cheese. A simple meal. Yet after a morning of work, it feels satisfying. Many meals in ancient Greece are exactly like this. Fresh ingredients. Little preparation. Nothing extravagant. Food is valued for nourishment rather than display. As you eat, you watch the sea. Sunlight dances across the water. The distant sails of merchant ships appear like white feathers drifting upon the horizon. Some of those ships may travel hundreds of miles. To Egypt. To Asia Minor. To distant colonies beyond the sea. Their crews will encounter storms, foreign cultures, and unknown challenges. Yet for today, your concerns are much smaller. And perhaps that is a blessing. You need only think about the weather. The condition of your nets. The journey home. The evening meal. Simple things. Manageable things. The kind of concerns that allow the mind to remain calm. A gentle breeze cools the warm afternoon air. Your eyes grow slightly heavy. The sound of the sea drifts upward from below. The shade of the olive tree feels wonderfully comfortable. For a moment, it would be easy to close your eyes and drift into sleep. Many fishermen have done exactly that beneath these same branches. Listening to the same waves. Feeling the same breeze. Watching the same sea. The centuries pass. The islands remain. And life continues much as it always has. As the afternoon sun begins its slow journey westward, you make your way back toward the harbor. The small island slowly disappears behind you. The olive tree, the spring, and the quiet stone cottages become distant memories. Ahead lies the coastal marketplace where fishermen from many villages gather. The sea remains calm. A gentle breeze fills the air. Your boat moves steadily across the sparkling waters. The basket of fish rests beside you. Today's catch is respectable. Not extraordinary. Not disappointing. Simply enough. For most fishermen, enough is all that is needed. The sea teaches moderation. A fisherman who expects abundance every day soon learns frustration. A fisherman who appreciates ordinary days usually finds contentment. As you row, the coastline gradually comes into view. White stone buildings gleam beneath the afternoon sun. Columns rise above rooftops. Small fishing boats move in and out of the harbor. Smoke drifts from ovens and cooking fires. The smell of baking bread occasionally reaches you even from the water. It is a familiar scent. A comforting one. The harbor grows busier as you approach. Merchant ships sit anchored farther offshore. Their tall masts rise like forests of wood and rope. Some vessels have traveled from distant lands. Egypt, Phoenicia, Cyprus, and countless islands scattered throughout the Mediterranean. Goods from across the ancient world pass through harbors like this one. Olive oil, wine, pottery, grain, spices, textiles. Yet among all these valuable cargoes, fishermen arrive carrying something equally important. Food. Fresh fish feed cities. They feed sailors. They feed farmers and craftsmen. Without fishermen, coastal life would be very different. You guide your boat toward the dock. The harbor water reflects the afternoon sunlight. Nearby, another fisherman unloads baskets filled with silver fish. Several children help carry the catch ashore. Their laughter drifts across the water. They seem happy to be included in the work. In ancient Greece, children often learn family trades from an early age. The son of a fisherman may become a fisherman. The daughter of a potter may learn pottery. Skills pass naturally from one generation to the next. The harbor feels alive with activity. Yet it is not chaotic. There is a rhythm to everything. Boats arrive. Goods are unloaded. Fish are sorted. Prices are discussed. Life continues according to patterns established long ago. You secure your boat and lift your basket. The fish shimmer beneath the sunlight. Their scales flash silver and blue. Freshness matters in the marketplace. Customers know the difference immediately. The path from the harbor leads directly toward the market square. Stone streets wind between buildings. Shopkeepers stand outside their workshops. A blacksmith hammers glowing metal. A potter arranges newly fired vessels. A weaver hangs colorful cloth to catch the attention of passers-by. The marketplace is the heart of the town. Here, people exchange more than goods. They exchange stories, news, rumors, ideas. A fisherman may arrive with tales from distant islands. A merchant may bring news from foreign cities. A traveler may describe lands most residents will never see. Information moves through marketplaces just as goods do. You enter the square. The sound of conversation fills the air. Men and women negotiate prices. Children run between stalls. Donkeys carry baskets loaded with produce. The scent of olives, bread, herbs, and fresh fish mingles together. It is a busy scene. Yet somehow it remains pleasant. Nothing feels rushed. People expect conversations to take time. Relationships matter as much as transactions. You approach a familiar section of the market where fish sellers gather. Several fishermen have already arrived. Their catches vary. Some display large tuna. Others offer octopus, squid, or smaller fish. Every basket reflects a different day upon the sea. A customer examines your fish carefully. She studies their eyes, their scales, their size. Then she nods approvingly. The fish are fresh. A fair price is agreed upon. No lengthy argument is necessary. Both parties understand the value of honesty. Trust is important in communities where people see one another regularly. Throughout the afternoon, more customers arrive. Some purchase fish for family meals. Others buy larger quantities for taverns and inns. Bit by bit, your basket grows lighter. The sea's gift finds its way into many homes. Soon, only a few fish remain. The day's work has been successful. You sit for a moment beneath the shade of a canvas awning. The market continues around you. An elderly storyteller gathers listeners nearby. His voice rises above the crowd. Children sit eagerly at his feet. Adults pause briefly to listen. Stories are treasured in ancient Greece. Long before books become common, stories carry history. Lessons. Legends. Memories. The old man speaks of heroes. Of sea voyages. Of gods and monsters. His listeners know many of the tales already. Yet they listen anyway. Some stories never lose their charm. You smile quietly. Fishermen are storytellers too. Hours upon the sea create plenty of opportunities for imagination. Every harbor contains men who claim to have caught the largest fish. Every village has someone who insists he survived the worst storm. Whether entirely true or slightly exaggerated hardly matters. Stories bring people together. The afternoon sun begins to soften. Long shadows stretch across the market square. The busiest hours are ending. Shopkeepers organize their goods. Customers gradually return home. The noise begins to fade. A sense of calm settles over the town. You count the small collection of coins earned from today's catch. Not wealth. Not fortune. But enough. Enough to buy necessities. Enough to support your family. Enough to begin tomorrow without worry. In many ways, this is the best kind of success. Quiet success. The kind that allows a person to sleep peacefully at night. The sea has provided once again. And for that, you are grateful. You purchase a loaf of fresh bread before leaving the market. Its warmth still lingers from the oven. Nearby, an olive seller offers a handful of ripe olives. You add those as well. Simple foods. Reliable foods. The same foods enjoyed by countless generations before you. As you leave the marketplace, the afternoon slowly transforms into evening. The sunlight turns golden. The air cools slightly. The harbor glows beneath the fading day. Soon, fishermen, merchants, craftsmen, and farmers alike will return home. Cooking fires will be lit. Families will gather. Stories will be shared. And another ordinary day in ancient Greece will draw gently toward its end. But before night arrives, there is still time for one more walk along the shore. One more chance to watch the sea. One more opportunity to listen to the waves that have guided your life since childhood. As the evening light spreads across the harbor, your thoughts drift toward the stories that have accompanied Greek fishermen for generations. The sea is more than water. At least, that is what many people believe. To countless sailors and fishermen across the Greek world, the sea is alive with unseen powers. Every wave carries mystery. Every storm carries meaning. Every calm sunrise feels like a blessing. You leave the marketplace behind and follow a narrow path along the shoreline. The day's heat is fading now. The air feels cooler. More comfortable. Small waves roll gently onto the beach. Their rhythm seems almost musical. You have heard this sound every day of your life. Yet it never becomes tiresome. Perhaps because no two waves are exactly alike. The sea is always changing. Always moving. Always telling a different story. As a child, you often sat beside your grandfather during evenings like this. Together you watched fishing boats return home. Their sails glowing orange beneath the setting sun. While you watched, he told stories. Some came from famous poets. Others came from old fishermen. Many had been repeated so often that nobody remembered where they began. One story concerned Poseidon, the mighty ruler of the seas, brother of Zeus, master of storms. According to legend, Poseidon carries a great trident forged by divine hands. With a single strike, he can split rocks, raise islands, or summon enormous waves. Many fishermen fear him. Others respect him. Most do both. Whenever storms appear suddenly, people often whisper that Poseidon is angry. Whenever calm weather follows a prayer, some believe he has shown mercy. Whether these stories are true hardly matters. They help people understand a world that often feels unpredictable. And the sea can certainly be unpredictable. You stop beside a rocky outcrop overlooking the harbor. Below, the water glows with reflections from the setting sun. Orange, gold, pink, purple. The colors shift constantly. A fisherman learns to appreciate such moments. Nature creates beauty freely. No payment required. No invitation necessary. Far offshore, a sailboat moves slowly across the horizon. Its silhouette appears almost black against the glowing sky. The sight reminds you of another famous story. The story of Odysseus. Every Greek knows his name. The clever hero who spent years wandering the seas after the Trojan War. According to the tale, Odysseus encountered cyclopes, sea monsters, enchantresses, and countless dangers. His journey became one of the greatest stories ever told. Children grow up hearing it. Adults continue repeating it. The sea itself seems larger because of such legends. Every distant island becomes a place where anything might happen. Every unexplored coastline becomes a source of wonder. You continue walking. The shoreline curves gently ahead. The harbor gradually disappears behind you. Soon, only the sea remains. And the sound of waves. Many fishermen prefer solitude during the evening. The sea feels different at this hour. Softer somehow. More thoughtful. The busy work of the day has ended. There is time to reflect. Time to remember. Time to dream. You sit upon a smooth stone warmed by the day's sunlight. The rock still holds a little heat. Comfortable. Relaxing. Above you, seabirds glide effortlessly through the cooling air. They move without hurry. Without concern. Simply following the wind. Watching them, it becomes easy to understand why ancient people imagined gods and spirits everywhere. Nature often feels magical. Not because it breaks the rules of the world, but because it follows them so beautifully. The sea stretches toward the horizon. Its surface now resembles polished bronze beneath the setting sun. Somewhere beyond that horizon lie places you have never visited. Egypt. Sicily. The distant coasts of Africa. Foreign lands filled with unfamiliar customs and languages. Most fishermen spend their lives close to home. Yet the sea constantly reminds them that larger worlds exist. The horizon is a promise. A reminder that mystery still survives. As darkness slowly approaches, your thoughts turn toward another tale. The story of the Nereids. Sea nymphs said to dwell beneath the waves. Ancient poets described them as beautiful spirits who protected sailors. Sometimes they guided ships through dangerous waters. Sometimes they rescued drowning men. At least, according to the stories. Fishermen occasionally claim to have seen strange lights upon the sea at night. Others describe hearing distant singing carried by the wind. Most likely these experiences have simple explanations. Yet legends persist. People enjoy believing that the world contains hidden wonders. Perhaps they are right. Perhaps not. Either way, life becomes more interesting when mystery remains possible. The sun now touches the horizon. Its lower edge disappears into the sea. Golden light floods the sky. The entire world seems to pause. For a few precious moments, everything glows. The boats. The water. The distant hills. Even the clouds appear painted with fire. You watch silently. There is nothing to say. Some moments deserve silence. This is one of them. Gradually, the colors begin to fade. Orange becomes pink. Pink becomes purple. Purple becomes deep blue. The first star appears overhead. Then another. Then several more. Night approaches. The fishermen of your village are returning home now. Cooking fires begin to flicker among the houses. Warm light shines from windows. Families gather for evening meals. The day is ending. Yet the sea remains awake. The sea never truly sleeps. It continues moving beneath the moon, continuing its endless journey. Wave after wave. Year after year. Century after century. The same sea that carried ancient heroes. The same sea that supports humble fishermen. The same sea that will continue long after both stories and storytellers are gone. You rise from the stone. The village lights twinkle in the distance. Home awaits. A warm meal awaits. And perhaps, later tonight, another story. Because in ancient Greece, stories travel almost as freely as the wind. And no one appreciates a good story more than a fisherman returning from the sea. The following morning arrives quietly. Just as countless mornings have arrived before it. The sea greets the dawn with gentle waves. The sky slowly brightens. And once again, you find yourself rowing away from the harbor. The village behind you still sleeps. Only a few fishermen are awake at this early hour. The world feels calm, unhurried, peaceful. As the sun rises higher, the cool air of dawn gradually disappears. Warmth spreads across the sea. The Aegean transforms beneath the growing light. Its surface sparkles like countless tiny mirrors. Every ripple catches the sun. Every wave reflects a different shade of blue. The water appears almost endless. This is the Mediterranean world. A place where sea and sky dominate daily life. Many people spend their entire lives within sight of the water. Farmers cultivate olive groves near the coast. Merchants sail between islands. Fishermen follow the movements of fish and weather. Everything revolves around the sea. You guide your boat toward familiar fishing grounds. The morning breeze fills the air with the scent of salt. Somewhere overhead, gulls circle lazily. A dolphin briefly surfaces in the distance before vanishing beneath the waves. The sight brings a quiet smile. Such moments never lose their charm. As the hours pass, the sun climbs steadily higher. By midday, its light shines directly overhead. The shadows grow short. The sea becomes dazzlingly bright. You pull a simple cloth over your head to shield yourself from the strongest rays. Many fishermen do the same. Life beneath the Mediterranean sun requires practical wisdom. The sea can be generous, But the sun can be relentless. Fortunately, experience teaches valuable lessons. Work early. Rest during the hottest hours. Respect the weather. Respect the water. Respect your own limits. These principles have guided fishermen for generations. You pause your work and allow the boat to drift. The fish have become less active. This often happens during the middle of the day. The sea itself seems quieter. Even the birds appear less energetic. Everything slows beneath the heat. You reach for a clay jug and take a drink. The water is warm now, yet still refreshing. Nearby rests a small bundle containing bread, olives, and dried figs. Simple food. Food that travels well. Food that requires no preparation. You eat slowly while gazing across the water. The horizon stretches in every direction. Nothing blocks the view. Nothing interrupts the silence. The world feels wonderfully open. Many philosophers speak about wisdom. They gather in cities, discuss ideas, debate theories. Yet fishermen often discover their own kind of wisdom. Not through books, not through speeches, but through observation. Hours spent alone upon the sea encourage reflection. The sea asks questions without using words. It invites patience, humility, awareness. A fisherman quickly learns that some things cannot be controlled. The wind chooses its own direction. Storms arrive when they wish. Fish follow patterns beyond human understanding. The sea rewards adaptability rather than stubbornness. Perhaps that is why older fishermen often appear calm. Years upon the water teach acceptance. You glance toward a nearby island. Its rocky cliffs rise sharply from the sea. Atop one hill stands a small temple. White stone columns gleam beneath the sunlight. From this distance, the structure appears tiny. Yet it stands proudly against the sky. Throughout Greece, temples occupy prominent locations. Hilltops, harbors, sacred groves. They remind travelers that the gods remain close. Whether one truly believes in divine intervention varies from person to person. Still, temples provide comfort. A sense of connection. A sense of continuity. Generations have visited such places, offering prayers, seeking guidance, expressing gratitude. The midday heat continues to build. The surface of the sea becomes almost glass-like. Small waves fade into gentle swells. The boat rocks softly. The movement feels soothing, almost like a cradle. Many fishermen take brief naps during quiet afternoons. The combination of sunlight, fresh air, and gentle motion makes sleep irresistible. You understand why. Even now, your eyelids feel slightly heavier. The steady sound of water encourages relaxation. A peaceful drowsiness settles over everything. For a few moments, you simply sit, listening, breathing, observing. The world asks nothing of you. No decisions. No responsibilities. Only presence. Only awareness. Only this moment. Far away, a merchant ship appears upon the horizon. Its large sail catches the sunlight. Slowly, it moves across the sea like a drifting cloud. You wonder where it is headed. Perhaps Athens. Perhaps Rhodes. Perhaps some distant port you will never visit. Every ship carries its own stories, its own hopes, its own destination. The sea connects them all. Hours pass gently. The harshest heat eventually begins to fade. A cooler breeze arrives from the west. The change feels welcome. The afternoon awakens once more. Birds become active again. Fish return to shallower waters. The sea regains its energy. Soon it will be time to work again. To cast nets. To watch the water. To continue the familiar rhythm of a fisherman's life. But before that happens, you take one final moment to appreciate the beauty surrounding you. The endless blue sky. The shining sea. The distant islands. The warm sunlight. Simple things. Ordinary things. Yet together they create a life rich with quiet satisfaction. A life measured not by wealth or fame, but by sunsets, seasons, weather, and the steady rhythm of the sea. The Mediterranean stretches before you exactly as it has for thousands of years. And for this brief moment, drifting beneath the bright afternoon sun, you feel perfectly content to be a small part of its story. As the afternoon breeze freshens and your boat turns gently toward home, your thoughts wander to the stories told by old sailors. Every harbor in Greece has them. Weathered men with sun-darkened faces. Men whose hands bear the marks of rope, salt, and years spent at sea. Men who seem older than the docks themselves. Some sit beneath awnings repairing nets. Others gather near taverns as evening approaches. And almost all of them have stories. Wonderful stories. Impossible stories. Stories that become larger each time they are told. As a child, you listened to them whenever you could. You would sit quietly nearby, pretending not to pay attention. Yet every word found its way into your imagination. The old sailors rarely hurried. Their tales unfolded slowly. Much like the sea itself. One sailor spoke of an island hidden by mist. According to him, it appeared only once every few years. Its beaches were covered with smooth white stones. Its forests glowed silver beneath moonlight. Strange birds nested among its cliffs. No map showed its location. No captain could find it twice. The old sailor insisted he had landed there as a young man. Whether anyone believed him remained uncertain. But everyone enjoyed hearing the tale. Another sailor described a storm unlike any other. Dark clouds covered the sky for 3 days. Waves rose higher than temple roofs. Lightning illuminated the sea from horizon to horizon. For a time, the crew believed they would never see land again. Yet somehow they survived. Whenever he told the story, the waves became taller. The winds became stronger. The danger became greater. Nobody complained. A good story deserves room to grow. The sea encourages imagination. After all, most of it remains unseen. Beneath your boat lies an entire world hidden from human eyes. Deep valleys, rocky ridges, schools of fish, strange creatures, mysteries without number. People naturally create stories to fill such unknown spaces. As your boat moves through the afternoon light, you notice the water changing color once again. The bright blue of midday has softened. Golden reflections dance across the surface. The sea seems calmer now, more thoughtful. You pause your rowing and allow the boat to drift. The gentle rocking reminds you of another tale, one your grandfather particularly enjoyed. It concerned a sailor who claimed to have traveled beyond the familiar waters of Greece. Far beyond the islands. Far beyond the usual trade routes. According to his account, he reached a distant sea where the stars appeared different. New constellations filled the sky. The shoreline stretched endlessly. And the people spoke languages unlike any he had ever heard. Was the story true? Perhaps. Ancient sailors often traveled remarkable distances. The Mediterranean connects many cultures, many kingdoms, many worlds. A person willing to follow the sea can discover extraordinary things. Even if some details become exaggerated over time. The wind strengthens slightly. Your small sail catches the breeze. The boat moves more easily now. You lean back and watch the clouds drifting overhead. Their shapes change constantly. One resembles a dolphin. Another resembles a mountain. A third looks almost like a giant ship. Children often imagine figures in the clouds. But adults do too. Most simply stop admitting it. The sea encourages daydreaming. Long hours upon the water leave room for imagination. A fisherman may spend entire afternoons observing the horizon. Watching light change. Watching weather develop. Watching distant ships appear and disappear. Such moments invite reflection. The old sailors understood this. Their stories were not merely entertainment. They were companions. Ways of passing time. Ways of making sense of a vast world. Some tales carried lessons. Warnings disguised as adventures. One story told of a proud captain who ignored weather signs. Despite warnings from experienced sailors, he continued his voyage. The storm arrived exactly as predicted. His ship barely survived. The lesson was simple. Respect the sea. Respect experience. Respect wisdom earned through observation. Young sailors often remembered the story, especially when dark clouds gathered. Another tale spoke of generosity. A fisherman discovered a stranger stranded upon a remote island. Instead of leaving him behind, he offered help. Years later, the stranger unexpectedly returned the kindness. The story changed with each telling. Different islands, different names, different circumstances. Yet the lesson remained. Kindness travels far, especially in communities connected by the sea. As evening approaches, the sunlight grows softer. The harbor appears in the distance. Small fishing boats move across the water like silhouettes. Smoke rises from village chimneys. Soon families will gather for supper. Children will play in narrow streets. Neighbors will exchange news. And somewhere, old sailors will begin telling stories once again. You can almost hear them already. Their voices rising above the evening sounds. Their listeners smiling knowingly. Some stories are true. Some are not. Most exist somewhere in between. But accuracy is not always the point. Stories preserve memories. They preserve values. They preserve wonder. A world without stories feels smaller. The sea understands this better than anyone. Every voyage becomes a story eventually. Every storm becomes a story. Every sunrise. Every friendship. Every journey home. Even your own life as a fisherman is becoming a story. One day, perhaps many years from now, a child may listen while you describe mornings upon the Aegean. You may speak of dolphins beside the boat, of golden sunsets, of calm afternoons drifting beneath the Mediterranean sun. The details may grow slightly larger with each retelling. That is only natural. Stories evolve. Like waves. Like clouds. Like the sea itself. The harbor now grows larger. Home is close. The familiar scent of wood smoke reaches the water. The day's work is nearly finished. Yet the stories continue. Because as long as people sail these waters, there will always be tales worth telling. And no place creates better stories than the sea. Not every day upon the Aegean Sea is calm. Not every sunrise leads to gentle waters and favorable winds. Most fishermen prefer peaceful days. Days. But every experienced fisherman carries memories of storms. Storms are teachers. Harsh. Teachers. Yet memorable ones. As your boat glides toward the harbor in the fading afternoon light, you remember one particular storm. It happened several years ago. You were younger then. Stronger perhaps. But certainly less wise. The morning had begun beautifully. The sea was calm. The sky was clear. Nothing seemed unusual. Fishermen throughout the village launched their boats with confidence. The weather appeared perfect. No one expected trouble. You rowed toward familiar fishing grounds, much like you have done countless times before. The first few hours passed peacefully. Fish filled your nets. The sunlight sparkled across the water. Seabirds followed your boat. Everything suggested an ordinary day. Then small changes began to appear. At first, they seemed insignificant. A slight shift in the wind. A few clouds gathering far beyond the horizon. A strange heaviness in the air. The sea often gives warnings. But those warnings are subtle. Only those paying attention notice them. Older fishermen noticed immediately. You remember seeing one of them begin rowing toward shore. Another followed soon afterward. Their actions should have told you something. Yet youth often mistakes confidence for wisdom. You continued fishing. The catch was good. You wanted a little more. Just one more net. Just one more hour. The sea heard your decision. And the sea responded. The clouds arrived faster than expected. Within minutes, the bright blue sky disappeared. Dark gray shadows spread across the horizon. The sunlight faded. The air grew colder. The water changed color. The cheerful blues of morning became deep shades of steel and charcoal. The transformation felt unsettling. The sea no longer seemed friendly. It seemed watchful. Almost impatient. The wind strengthened suddenly. Your boat rocked more noticeably. Small waves began striking the hull. You glanced toward shore. The harbor now appeared much farther away than you remembered. A feeling of concern settled in your chest. Not panic. Not yet. But concern. You began pulling in your nets. Quickly. Perhaps too quickly. The rope slipped through your hands. Water splashed across the deck. The wind continued to increase. Soon the sea became rough. The waves grew larger. Each one lifting the boat before dropping it again. The gentle rhythm of the morning had vanished. Now every movement demanded attention. Every decision mattered. Rain began falling. At first, only a few drops. Then many more. Soon the entire sea disappeared behind curtains of water. The horizon vanished. The islands vanished. Even nearby boats became difficult to see. The world shrank dramatically. Only wind. Only rain. Only waves. The storm surrounded everything. Thunder rolled across the sky. Deep. Powerful. Ancient. Lightning flashed among the clouds. For a brief moment, the sea appeared bright as day. Then darkness returned. You remember gripping the oars tightly. Your hands felt cold despite the effort. Rain soaked your clothing. Salt water covered the boat. The waves seemed enormous. Perhaps they were not as large as memory suggests. Storms often grow larger when remembered. Yet they felt enormous at the time. That much is certain. The boat climbed each wave like a traveler climbing a hill. Then slid down the opposite side. Again. And again. And again. Hours seemed to pass. Though in reality, it was probably much less. Time behaves strangely during difficult moments. Minutes feel like hours. Hours feel like days. You focused on simple tasks. Keep the boat facing the waves. Maintain balance. Continue rowing. Do not panic. Ancient fishermen survive storms because they understand an important truth. Panic solves nothing. The sea does not respond to fear. It responds only to skill. Patience. Preparation. You remembered lessons taught by older fishermen. Lessons that seemed boring when first heard. Lessons that suddenly became valuable. Keep your weight centered. Watch the waves. Never fight the sea directly. Work with it. Those lessons guided you through the storm. Little by little. Wave by wave. The hours passed. Eventually, the wind began to weaken. The rain slowed. The clouds started to break apart. Small patches of sunlight appeared. The storm moved eastward across the sea. Its anger spent. Its lesson delivered. The waves remained rough for a while longer. But the worst had passed. Gradually, the horizon returned. Then the islands. Then distant fishing boats. The world reappeared. You have rarely felt such relief. The harbor never looked more welcoming. The village never felt more beautiful. Even the simplest things seemed extraordinary. Dry clothing. Warm food. A roof overhead. The storm changed something inside you. Not dramatically. Not all at once. But permanently. After that day, you listened more carefully to experienced fishermen. You watched the weather more closely. You respected warning signs. Most importantly, you stopped assuming calm seas would last forever. The sea deserves respect. Not fear. Respect. There is a difference. Fear prevents action. Respect encourages wisdom. That lesson remains with you. Even now. As you drift peacefully across calm water, you remember that storm. The sea before you appears gentle. Friendly. Beautiful. And it truly is. Most days. Yet beneath that beauty lies tremendous power. Power older than cities. Older than kingdoms. Older than memory itself. The same sea that feeds fishermen can also challenge them. The same waves that soothe can also test. Perhaps that balance is part of what makes the sea so captivating. It offers gifts. It demands humility. It provides beauty. It requires respect. And through it all, it continues moving endlessly beneath the sun and stars. The harbor lights begin to glow in the distance. Evening approaches. The storm is long behind you now. Only the memory remains. A memory carried like many others. A story shaped by wind and waves. A lesson delivered by the sea. And one worth remembering. As the sun slowly descends toward the western horizon, the sea begins its evening transformation. The brilliant brightness of afternoon softens into warm shades of gold and amber. The water reflects the fading sunlight like polished bronze. Every wave glimmers. Every ripple catches the light. It is one of the most beautiful times of day. And one that fishermen rarely miss. Your boat moves steadily toward the village. The familiar coastline grows larger with each passing minute. White stone houses appear upon the hills. Olive groves cast long shadows across the landscape. Thin columns of smoke rise from cooking fires. The village is preparing for evening. A time of rest. A time of family. A time of stories. The day's work is finished now. The nets are folded. The fish are secured. The sea has offered what it wished to offer. Nothing more is required. There is satisfaction in that. A simple sense of completion. You row at an easy pace. No longer concerned with reaching fishing grounds. No longer focused upon the catch. The journey home feels different. More relaxed. More reflective. The sea seems to understand. Its surface remains calm. The breeze remains gentle. Even the gulls appear quieter. Several fishing boats travel nearby. Each follows its own path toward home. Their sails glow orange beneath the setting sun. From a distance, they resemble small shadows drifting across liquid gold. You recognize some of the boats. Friends. Neighbors. Men you have known for years. Perhaps for decades. Together, you have shared storms. Good catches. Poor catches. Long winters. Hot summers. The sea creates a special kind of friendship. Not one built upon words, but upon shared experience. Shared understanding. There is comfort in seeing familiar boats upon the water. A reminder that no fisherman truly works alone. The village harbor grows nearer. You can now hear faint sounds drifting across the water. Voices. Laughter. The occasional bark of a dog. Children playing near the docks. Life continues ashore. The rhythm of the village is as dependable as the rhythm of the sea. Each evening follows a familiar pattern. Boats return. Families reunite. Meals are prepared. The day gently comes to a close. The harbor itself glows beneath the golden light. Wooden docks stretch into the water. Fishing boats crowd together along the shoreline. The scene feels timeless. It could belong to today. Or 100 years ago. Or 100 years from now. Some things change slowly. The life of a fisherman is one of them. As you approach the dock, several children run along the shoreline. They watch the returning boats with excitement. Many dream of becoming fishermen someday. Just as you once did. The sea captures imaginations early. Its mystery is difficult to resist. You smile as one young boy points excitedly toward a particularly large fish being unloaded nearby. To him, it may seem enormous. To experienced fishermen, perhaps not. But wonder is valuable. Especially when young. You secure your boat carefully. The rope feels familiar in your hands. The same knot. The same dock. The same routine repeated thousands of times. Yet it never becomes boring. Routine often brings comfort. Especially after a long day. You step onto solid ground. For a moment, your body still feels the motion of waves. A strange sensation known to every sailor. The sea remains within you even after leaving it. Nearby, fishermen unload their catches. Baskets pass from hand to hand. Conversations drift through the evening air. Most discuss ordinary things. Weather. Fishing grounds. Repairs. Family news. Simple topics. The kinds of conversations that quietly bind communities together. The sky continues changing overhead. Orange becomes pink. Pink becomes violet. The first evening star appears. Soon others follow. Night approaches steadily. Yet there is no sadness in the fading light. Only calm acceptance. The day has been good. Not perfect. Not extraordinary. Simply good. And often that is enough. You begin walking through the village streets. Stone walls glow warmly beneath the last sunlight. Neighbors greet one another. Doors remain open. The smell of cooking fills the air. Fresh bread. Roasted fish. Olive oil. Herbs. Simple meals prepared with care. The aromas mingle together and drift through the narrow streets. Your stomach reminds you that you have spent many hours upon the sea. Supper will be welcome. Very welcome. As you pass through the village square, an elderly man sits beneath a tree. Several children gather around him. He is telling stories. Of course he is. Every village has someone like him. A keeper of memories. A guardian of tales. The children listen with complete attention. Their eyes wide. Their imaginations alive. You remember being one of them. Listening beneath evening skies. Dreaming of distant islands and legendary voyages. Some traditions never disappear. The storyteller pauses briefly. The children immediately demand more. The old man smiles and continues. You smile as well. The world feels peaceful, balanced, whole. The sea provided food. The village provides community. Together they create a life rich in simple blessings. You continue toward home. The sunlight finally slips beyond the horizon. Twilight settles across the land. Lanterns begin glowing inside homes. Their warm light spills onto the streets. The harbor becomes quieter. The boats rest peacefully upon the water. Even the sea seems ready for sleep. The evening air cools pleasantly. Above, more stars appear. One by one. Then dozens. Then hundreds. Soon the night sky will shine brightly above the village. The same stars that guided sailors centuries ago. The same stars that guided your father. And his father before him. You pause for a moment and look toward the sea. The water has grown dark once more. Yet it remains beautiful. Always beautiful. Tomorrow it will call fishermen back again. Tomorrow another day will begin. Another sunrise. Another journey. Another chapter in the endless story of life beside the Aegean. But tonight, the work is done. Tonight, there is only rest. Only warmth. Only the comforting promise of home. And as the first lights of evening glow throughout the village, you walk onward through the peaceful streets, grateful for another day safely spent upon the sea. Night settles gently over the village. The last traces of daylight fade from the western horizon. The sea darkens beneath the evening sky. Lanterns begin to glow inside stone houses. Their warm golden light spills through open doorways and narrow windows. From a distance, the village resembles a collection of tiny stars scattered along the coastline. The harbor has grown quiet now. Most fishing boats rest peacefully at their moorings. Their reflections shimmer softly upon the water. The waves continue their endless rhythm against the shore. Slow. Gentle. Comforting. A sound that has accompanied every evening of your life. You make your way toward home through the narrow village streets. The stone beneath your sandals still holds a little warmth from the day's sun. Neighbors exchange greetings as they pass. Some carry baskets of vegetables. Others return from workshops. A few sit outside their homes enjoying the cool evening air. The pace of life slows noticeably after sunset. Work gives way to rest. Responsibilities give way to conversation. The village seems to exhale. The smell of supper drifts through the air. Fresh bread. Olive oil. Herbs. Roasted vegetables. Fish cooking over charcoal. The aromas mingle together and create something deeply familiar. A scent that means safety. A scent that means home. As you approach your house, A small oil lamp flickers beside the doorway. Its flame dances gently in the evening breeze. You pause for a moment before entering. The sea remains visible beyond the rooftops. Moonlight has begun to spread across the water. The sight is beautiful. Quietly beautiful. The kind of beauty that asks for nothing. You step inside. The room feels warm and welcoming. Simple wooden furniture occupies the space. Clay jars line one wall. A woven basket rests near the hearth. Nothing extravagant. Nothing unnecessary. Everything has a purpose. Life in ancient Greece is often practical. Possessions are valued for usefulness rather than appearance. The meal is already prepared. Fresh fish from today's catch. A loaf of bread. Olives. Goat cheese. A handful of figs. Simple foods. Yet satisfying ones. The sort of meal enjoyed by countless generations of fishermen. You sit down and begin eating slowly. There is no rush. Meals are not merely about nourishment. They are moments of connection. Moments of gratitude. Moments of rest after a day of labor. Outside, voices drift through the village. Families gather together. Friends visit one another. Stories are exchanged. News is shared. The day's events become part of memory. You listen quietly as distant laughter rises from somewhere near the harbor. The sound carries easily through the cool night air. A group of fishermen is likely gathered beside the docks. Perhaps discussing weather. Perhaps discussing fishing. Perhaps simply enjoying one another's company. Communities built around the sea tend to be close-knit. Everyone understands the challenges of the life. Everyone understands the rewards. After supper, you step outside once more. The night has fully arrived now. The moon hangs above the Aegean. Its reflection stretches across the water like a path made of silver. The harbor appears peaceful beneath its glow. A few lanterns still burn near the docks. Most have already been extinguished. The village grows quieter with each passing hour. You begin walking toward the shoreline. The sand feels cool beneath your feet. Small waves roll gently onto the beach. Then retreat. Then return again. Their rhythm remains unchanged. It is one of the oldest sounds in the world. Long before cities existed. Long before kingdoms rose and fell. The sea was making this same sound. You sit upon a smooth stone overlooking the water. The moonlight illuminates the surface of the sea. Far offshore, a few distant fishing boats remain visible. Tiny points of light against the darkness. Perhaps they are night fishermen. Perhaps travelers. Either way, they seem peaceful. The stars above are magnificent. Without bright city lights, the heavens appear endless. Thousands of stars fill the sky. Some shine brightly. Others appear faint and distant. Ancient sailors often navigate by these stars. Many know them better than they know roads or landmarks. The stars are reliable companions. They return night after night, season after season, year after year. You recognize familiar constellations overhead. The Great Bear, Orion, the Pleiades. Names passed down through generations. Names spoken beneath these same stars for centuries. The night air feels cool and pleasant. A gentle breeze drifts inland from the sea. The village behind you has grown nearly silent. Most people have retired for the evening. Lanterns disappear one by one. Doors close. Voices fade. The world prepares for sleep. You remain beside the shore for a while longer. Listening. Watching. Thinking. Not about anything important. Simply allowing your mind to wander. The sea encourages such moments. Moments without purpose. Moments without urgency. Moments of quiet reflection. Eventually, even those thoughts begin to fade. Only the sound of waves remains. Only the moon. Only the stars. The night feels timeless. As though the world has paused. As though nothing exists beyond the village, the sea, and the sky. It is a comforting feeling. A peaceful feeling. One that settles gently over everything. The harbor sleeps. The fishermen sleep. The village sleeps. Yet the sea continues its endless journey beneath the moonlight. And somewhere beyond the horizon, tomorrow is already beginning. Later that night, you remain beside the shore. The village has grown almost completely silent. Most lanterns have gone dark. Most doors have closed. The day's conversations have ended. Only the sea continues speaking. Wave after wave slides gently onto the beach. Then returns to the darkness. Then comes again. Its rhythm feels eternal. Above you stretches one of the clearest night skies imaginable. Without bright city lights, the heavens appear vast beyond comprehension. Thousands upon thousands of stars fill the darkness. Some burn brightly. Others shimmer softly. Together they create a magnificent tapestry across the sky. You lean back upon the smooth stone and simply look upward. No fisherman spends a lifetime on the sea without becoming familiar with the stars. Long before maps became common, sailors relied upon them. Long before lighthouses guided ships, stars illuminated the way. Even now, experienced fishermen often glance skyward before beginning a journey. The heavens offer clues, directions, warnings, comfort. The stars feel dependable. A constant presence in an ever-changing world. You locate the familiar shape of the Great Bear. Many sailors use it to find north. Nearby, other constellations reveal themselves. Patterns imagined by countless generations. Some resemble animals. Others heroes. Others mythical creatures. Human beings have always searched for meaning among the stars. Perhaps because the sky invites wonder. Perhaps because it reminds us how small we are. Ancient Greek philosophers often studied the heavens. They asked questions that few people had considered before. What are the stars? Why do they move? What lies beyond the sky? Some believed the stars were divine. Others searched for natural explanations. Curiosity became a defining part of Greek thought. The desire to understand the world. To ask questions. To observe carefully. In some ways, fishermen share this curiosity. The sea rewards observation. The stars reward observation. Both teach patience. Both reveal their secrets slowly. A shooting star suddenly streaks across the darkness. Its bright trail lasts only a moment. Then it vanishes. The night returns to stillness. You smile quietly. Even after seeing such sights many times, they remain special. Some villagers believe shooting stars are messages from the gods. Others believe they carry luck. No one truly knows. Yet uncertainty does not diminish their beauty. The sea before you reflects fragments of starlight. Tiny points of light shimmer upon the waves. It almost appears as though the sky has descended into the water. The boundary between sea and heaven becomes difficult to distinguish. Both seem endless. Both seem mysterious. A cool breeze drifts across the shoreline. The warmth of the day has completely disappeared now. The night air feels refreshing. Comfortable. Perfect for quiet reflection. Far out upon the water, a distant lantern flickers. Perhaps a fisherman. Perhaps a merchant vessel. Its tiny light appears fragile against the darkness. Yet it remains visible. A small reminder that others share this world. Others gaze upon these same stars. Others listen to these same waves. Throughout the Greek world, countless people are looking upward tonight. Farmers resting after long days in the fields. Shepherds watching over their flocks. Merchants preparing for tomorrow's journeys. Sailors navigating dark waters. All beneath the same sky. The thought feels comforting. The stars unite distant places. They connect strangers who may never meet. A fisherman on a small island and a philosopher in Athens both look upon the same heavens. The stars belong to everyone. And to no one. Hours pass gently. The moon climbs higher. Its silver light spreads across the sea. The shoreline glows softly beneath its illumination. Everything feels peaceful. Almost dreamlike. The village sleeps deeply now. Only occasional sounds disturb the silence. A dog barking in the distance. A seabird calling briefly overhead. The creak of a boat shifting with the tide. Then silence returns. The world seems content to rest. You remember stories told by sailors long ago. Stories of navigating by stars alone. Crossing open water without sight of land. Trusting the heavens to guide them. Such journeys required courage. And skill. And patience. Much like fishing itself. The sea rewards those who learn its rhythms. The stars reward those who learn theirs. Together they have guided generations across the Mediterranean. You continue watching the sky. There is no destination. No task. No responsibility. Only observation. Only wonder. Modern people often hurry from one activity to another. Yet here, in ancient Greece, moments like this are common. Moments devoted simply to being present. To appreciating beauty. To contemplating the world. The stars encourage such thoughts. They remind you that life is larger than any single day. Larger than any single village. Larger than any individual story. Yet at the same time, they make ordinary moments feel meaningful. A fisherman sitting beside the sea. Listening to waves. Watching constellations. There is something quietly profound in such simplicity. The night grows deeper. Your eyelids feel slightly heavier. The gentle sound of the sea becomes increasingly soothing. The stars continue their slow journey across the heavens. The moon continues its silent climb. Everything moves exactly as it should. Exactly as it has for centuries. Exactly as it will for centuries more. And beneath this magnificent sky, beside the calm waters of the Aegean, a peaceful tiredness begins to settle over you. A pleasant tiredness. The kind that arrives after a day well spent. The kind that invites sleep. The kind that reminds you tomorrow will bring another sunrise. Another voyage. Another chapter in the endless story of the sea. As the night deepens, you finally rise from the shoreline. The stars still shine brightly overhead. The moon casts a silver pathway across the calm waters of the Aegean. The sea continues its endless conversation with the shore. Gentle. Patient. Unhurried. The same sound that greeted your ancestors. The same sound that will greet generations yet to come. You take one last look toward the harbor. The fishing boats rest quietly in the darkness. Their masts sway gently with the tide. No voices carry across the water now. No footsteps echo from the docks. The village sleeps. Only the sea remains awake. You begin walking home. The narrow stone streets are nearly empty. Moonlight spills across the rooftops. Shadows stretch along the walls. The air feels cool and refreshing after the warmth of the day. A soft breeze carries the scent of salt and distant olive groves. Everything feels calm. Everything feels still. The world seems to have slowed. You pass familiar homes, familiar doorways, familiar paths, places you have seen thousands of times. Yet beneath moonlight, even ordinary things appear slightly different. More peaceful, more mysterious. The village feels like part of a dream. Eventually, you reach your home. The oil lamp inside burns low. Its flame flickers softly. The room glows with warm golden light. You close the door behind you. Outside, the sea continues whispering in the darkness. Inside, everything feels safe, comfortable, quiet. You sit for a moment beside the lamp. The events of the day drift through your thoughts. The sunrise, the fishing grounds, the islands, the marketplace, the evening sky. Simple memories, yet satisfying ones. A fisherman does not need extraordinary adventures every day. The ordinary days often become the most treasured. You remove your sandals. The cool stone floor feels pleasant beneath your feet. The room smells faintly of olive oil and wood smoke. Familiar scents. The sense of home. You extinguish the lamp. Darkness fills the room. Only moonlight remains. It slips through a small window and falls gently across the floor. You lie down upon your simple bed. The blanket feels warm, comfortable. Outside, the waves continue their steady rhythm. A sound so familiar that you hardly notice it anymore. And yet, tonight, it seems especially soothing. The sea has accompanied every stage of your life. Your childhood. Your youth. Your years as a fisherman. Every memory contains its presence. Perhaps that is why sleep comes easily. The sea teaches acceptance. Its tides rise and fall. Its seasons change. Its storms arrive and depart. Everything moves in cycles. Everything follows a rhythm. Sleep is another rhythm. Another tide. You close your eyes. The sounds of the village fade completely. The sounds of the sea remain. Slowly, your thoughts begin to drift. Not toward worries. Not toward responsibilities. But toward images. Fragments. Memories becoming dreams. You imagine yourself once more upon the water. The sea is calm. The sky is clear. The boat moves effortlessly across the surface. Dolphins swim nearby. Their sleek forms rise and disappear among the waves. Sunlight dances upon the water. The islands appear ahead. Beautiful and distant. Their cliffs glow beneath the morning sun. You sail toward them without hurry. Without purpose. Simply drifting. The dream changes. Now you stand upon a shoreline you have never visited. The sand is white. The sea shines like polished glass. Seabirds circle overhead. Ancient ruins rise among the hills. Columns weathered by centuries of wind and salt. No voices disturb the silence. Only waves. Only sky. Only peace. The dream changes again. You see the stars above the Aegean, brighter than ever before. Constellations fill the heavens. Their reflections shimmer across the sea. The boundary between sky and water disappears. It becomes impossible to tell where one ends and the other begins. You drift through this world without effort. Weightless. Calm. Content. The sea seems endless. The stars seem endless. Time itself seems endless. Yet nothing feels overwhelming. Only peaceful. Only gentle. The dream continues. You sail beside ancient merchant ships. Their white sails billow beneath warm winds. You pass distant islands. Hidden coves. Quiet harbors. Everywhere the sea remains beautiful. Everywhere the journey feels calm. The world becomes softer. The details blur. The sounds fade. Only the feeling remains. A feeling of floating. A feeling of safety. A feeling of rest. The sea cradles your dreams just as it cradled your boat. Slowly. Gently. Patiently. And somewhere beyond those dreams, the real sea continues rolling beneath the moonlight. The harbor sleeps. The village sleeps. The fishermen sleep. Even the stars seem quieter now. The night grows deeper. The world grows still. And carried by the endless rhythm of the waves, you drift further into peaceful sleep. In the deepest hours of the night, somewhere between dreams and memory, you find yourself aboard your fishing boat once more. The sea is perfectly calm. Not a single wave disturbs the surface. The water resembles polished silver beneath the moonlight. The stars stretch from horizon to horizon, brighter than you have ever seen them before. Their reflections shimmer across the sea until it seems as though you are sailing through the heavens themselves. The village has disappeared behind you. The harbor is gone. The familiar coastline has faded into darkness. Only the boat remains. Only the sea. Only the sky. And strangely, there is no fear. No uncertainty. Only peace. The sail catches a gentle breeze. Without effort, the boat begins moving forward. Smoothly. Silently. As if guided by something unseen. You do not reach for the oars. There is no need. The sea already knows where you are going. You sit quietly and watch the stars. They appear larger tonight. Closer somehow. The familiar constellations glow overhead. The Great Bear. Orion. The Pleiades. Old companions that have guided sailors for countless generations. Tonight they seem almost alive. Not speaking. Not moving. Simply watching. The sea beneath the boat glows softly. Tiny points of light flicker beneath the surface. At first you think they are reflections. Then you realize they are something else. Countless small creatures drifting through the water, each producing its own faint glow. Like stars beneath the sea, the boat passes among them, leaving a trail of silver light behind. It is beautiful. The kind of beauty that exists only in dreams. Far ahead, a shape emerges upon the horizon. An island. Small and distant. Its outline barely visible beneath the moonlight. You have never seen it before. Yet it feels familiar. As though you have always known it existed. The boat continues toward it. Slowly. Patiently. The journey feels timeless. Minutes pass. Or perhaps hours. It becomes difficult to tell. Time behaves differently here. The island grows larger. Its shoreline appears peaceful. Olive trees line the hills. White stone cliffs rise from the sea. Soft golden lights glow among the trees. Not lanterns. Not fires. Something gentler. Something warmer. The entire island radiates calm. You feel drawn toward it. Not because you must go there, but because it feels welcoming. Like home. Like every pleasant memory combined into a single place. The boat glides closer. The water remains perfectly still. No wind disturbs the sea. No clouds disturb the sky. Everything feels balanced. Everything feels exactly as it should. As you approach the shore, you notice figures standing beneath the olive trees. At first they are difficult to see. Only silhouettes against the golden light. Then gradually they become clearer. Fishermen. Sailors. Men and women from long ago. People whose lives were shaped by the sea. Some carry nets. Others carry oars. Some simply stand watching the water. Their faces appear peaceful. Content. Many seem familiar. Though you cannot say exactly why. Perhaps they resemble people from your village. Perhaps they resemble stories told by your grandfather. Perhaps they resemble memories. The island itself feels timeless. A place untouched by storms. Untouched by worry. Untouched by hardship. The sea surrounding it remains forever calm. The stars above remain forever bright. The air remains forever gentle. You guide the boat toward a small harbor. Or perhaps the boat guides itself. The distinction no longer matters. The dock appears simple. Wooden. Weathered. Comfortably familiar. Exactly the sort of dock a fisherman would appreciate. As the boat touches the harbor, the journey feels complete. Not ended. Complete. There is a difference. An ending feels abrupt. Completion feels peaceful. Natural. Like the final page of a favorite story, you remain seated for a while, listening to the water, listening to the wind moving softly through olive branches, listening to the quiet sounds of a world entirely at peace. No one rushes you. No one expects anything. There is only calm, only stillness, only rest. The stars continue shining overhead. The sea continues reflecting their light. Everything remains exactly where it belongs. Gradually, the island begins to fade. The harbor fades. The trees fade. The figures fade. The sea itself becomes softer, more distant, as though a gentle mist is passing over everything. The dream slowly dissolves. The boat disappears. The stars become blurred points of light. The shoreline melts into darkness. And through it all, one sound remains. The sound that has accompanied your entire life. The sound of waves, slowly rolling onto the shore, then retreating, then returning again. The eternal rhythm of the sea. The rhythm that greeted you at birth. The rhythm that carried you through every season of life. The rhythm that now carries you deeper into sleep. The dream fades completely. Only peace remains. Only rest. Only the distant whisper of the Aegean Sea beneath the stars. As the final hours of the night unfold, the world grows quieter still. The village sleeps deeply now. The fishermen sleep. The merchants sleep. The farmers sleep. Even the dogs that wandered the streets earlier have settled into peaceful rest. Only the sea continues its endless work. Wave after wave reaches the shore. Then retreats. Then returns once more. A rhythm older than memory. A rhythm older than history itself. You lie comfortably in your small home near the water. The blanket rests lightly over you. The cool night air drifts through the window. Outside, the moon hangs above the Aegean Sea. Its silver light spreads across the water. A path of quiet beauty stretching toward the horizon. You are warm, safe, comfortable. The work of the day is complete. There are no nets left to mend. No boats left to secure. No fish left to sell. Tomorrow belongs to tomorrow. Tonight belongs to rest. The sea understands this. The sea never hurries. It moves at its own pace. Patiently. Steadily. Without concern. Without worry. You listen to the distant waves. Their sound rises and falls. Rises and falls. Like breathing. Like sleep itself. Many fishermen find comfort in this sound. Children grow up hearing it. Old men grow old hearing it. Entire generations drift into dreams while listening to the sea beyond the shore. Tonight is no different. The stars continue their slow journey across the heavens. Most people never notice. They are asleep. Yet above the sleeping world, the constellations quietly move westward. The Great Bear, Orion, the Pleiades, ancient companions of sailors and fishermen. Their light travels unimaginable distances before reaching the earth. And tonight, that light shines softly above your village. You imagine the harbor, the boats resting peacefully upon the water, their ropes creaking gently with the tide, the masts swaying almost imperceptibly, the fishing nets folded neatly for another day. Everything in its proper place. Everything at rest. There is comfort in order. Comfort in routine. Comfort in knowing that tomorrow will begin much like today began. The sea will still be there. The islands will still rise from the horizon. The birds will still circle overhead. The sun will still climb above the water. Life will continue. As it always has. As it always will. Your thoughts begin to slow. The sharp edges of the day soften. Memories drift gently through your mind. The golden sunrise upon the sea. The dolphins swimming beside the boat. The distant islands glowing beneath the afternoon sun. The marketplace filled with voices and laughter. The evening harbor bathed in warm light. The stars reflected upon calm water. Beautiful moments. Simple moments. The kind of moments that quietly shape a life. You do not hold on to them. You simply allow them to drift past. Like boats moving across a distant horizon. One memory follows another. Then another. Each growing softer. Each becoming more dreamlike. Outside, the sea continues its endless lullaby. The waves roll toward the shore. Then away. Then back again. Never stopping. Never rushing. The sound blends with the cool breeze. The cool breeze blends with the silence. The silence blends with sleep. The village becomes very still. Very quiet. Very peaceful. Somewhere nearby, an owl calls softly. Then silence returns. The sound lasts only a moment. Yet it somehow makes the night feel even calmer. The moon climbs higher. Its light shifts slowly across rooftops and streets. No one notices. No one needs to. The night takes care of itself. The sea takes care of itself. The stars take care of themselves. Not everything requires effort. Not everything requires attention. Some things simply unfold. Naturally. Quietly. Perfectly. You breathe slowly. The air smells faintly of salt. Of olive trees. Of the sea. Familiar scents. Comforting sense. The sense of home. Your body feels pleasantly tired. Not exhausted. Not heavy. Simply relaxed. The kind of tiredness earned through a good day. A day spent beneath the sun. A day spent upon the water. A day lived well. Your thoughts drift further. The room around you fades. The village fades. Only the sound of the sea remains. Gentle. Steady. Endless. You imagine yourself floating upon calm water. Not working. Not rowing. Simply drifting. The boat moves effortlessly. The sea supports you completely. Above, the stars shine quietly. Around you, the water glows beneath moonlight. Ahead, the horizon stretches forever. There is nowhere you need to go. Nothing you need to do. No destination. No responsibility. Only peace. Only stillness. Only rest. The boat drifts. The waves drift. The clouds drift. Everything moves gently through the night. And you drift with them. The sea becomes calmer still. The stars become softer. The world becomes quieter. Sleep settles over everything like a warm blanket. The harbor sleeps. The village sleeps. The hills sleep. The olive groves sleep. The fishing boats sleep. Even the sea seems quieter now. Not silent. Never silent. But softer. More distant. Like a lullaby slowly fading into a dream. Far beyond the horizon, morning waits patiently. The first hint of dawn remains many hours away. There is no need to think about it. No need to prepare. The night is still young. Sleep is still deep. The stars still shine overhead. And the sea still whispers beyond the shore. Its voice has not changed for thousands of years. It whispered to fishermen long before your birth. It whispered to your father. And his father before him. Tonight it whispers to you. The same message it has always carried. Rest. Be still. The day is done. The sea will be here tomorrow. The stars will be here tomorrow. The sunrise will return tomorrow. For now, there is only this moment. This peaceful night. This quiet room. This distant sound of waves upon the shore. And so, beneath the stars of ancient Greece, beside the calm waters of the Aegean Sea, wrapped in the gentle rhythm of the world's oldest lullaby, you drift fully into sleep. Deep sleep. Peaceful sleep. Dreamless sleep. While outside, the eternal sea continues its endless journey beneath the moonlit sky.